Have you ever found yourself struggling to recall entire stretches of your childhood, as if certain years simply vanished from your memory? It's not that your early life was particularly challenging or uneventful. It's more like you bypassed a significant portion, perhaps between the ages of 7 and 17. This phenomenon occurs when the carefree days of youth are abruptly cut short, long before they naturally should. And I'm not referring to some dramatic cinematic event. Often this shift happens far more subtly. It could manifest as a 9-year-old preparing meals for younger siblings because a parent is working extra shifts. Or perhaps you found yourself mediating arguments between your parents, acting as their interpreter. Some children even learn to intuitively understand unspoken social cues before they could even read a storybook. What often goes unacknowledged is that this version of you, the one compelled to mature prematurely, never truly disappears. That early experience continues to shape your decision-making even today. Let me provide a clearer picture. Imagine an 8-year-old child who suddenly becomes the most responsible person in their home. Not by choice, but out of necessity, and everything changes for them. Psychologists refer to this as parentification, a situation where a child assumes adult responsibilities and roles. However, that clinical term hardly conveys the immense burden of being small, yet carrying a weight far beyond your years. Dr. Lisa M. Hooper, through her extensive studies, observed that parentified children frequently exhibit what appears to be exceptional maturity. Yet, and this is vital, it isn't true maturity. It's a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. It's a child's nervous system adapting to function permanently in a state of crisis. What felt normal to you was often someone else's emergency. Those who experience this kind of upbringing often find themselves excelling in certain unique abilities. You likely became exceptionally skilled at discerning others' emotional states, instantly sensing the atmosphere when your parents entered the room. Anticipating needs before they were even spoken, problem-solving became an instinct, as inaction wasn't a viable option. However, these very superpowers you developed come with a hidden cost, a price tag you wouldn't realize until decades later. It's quite striking. Children forced to mature quickly frequently struggle most with life's simplest aspects. Not the grand, overwhelming challenges that you navigate with surprising ease, but rather the seemingly trivial details. Things like asking for assistance, allowing yourself to rest without guilt, or simply being lighthearted and carefree. Such ordinary actions often feel inherently threatening or unsafe to you. This stems from an early lesson. The world doesn't pause for your needs, and your own well-being always takes a backseat. You learned that maintaining stability hinged entirely on your capacity to keep everything together. This wasn't just a fleeting lesson. You constructed an entire internal operating system around this principle. And that fundamental system continues to run in the background. Let's explore how this manifests in adulthood. Often, individuals with this background become the go-to person in a crisis, the dependable one who effortlessly manages everything. You might also find yourself drawn to people who seem to need fixing, not necessarily a savior complex, but it's a pattern. This attraction stems from a deeper place where feeling essential was the sole form of affection you truly understood. Consequently, navigating relationships can prove challenging, as true intimacy often feels like an uncomfortable exposure. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable was a privilege you simply couldn't afford during those formative years. Even today, in secure environments with genuinely caring partners, a part of you remains perpetually on guard. You find it impossible to truly lower your defenses, despite the current safety and support you might experience. This might explain why you're often drawn to partners who are emotionally distant or inaccessible. Before you internalize any blame for this tendency, it's crucial to grasp a fundamental truth. Emotional unavailability paradoxically resonates as familiar and comforting, almost like a return home. Your early home environment was one where your giving was boundless, while receiving love or support was a rare occurrence. Therefore, consistent affection and unwavering presence from someone can feel strangely unsettling. It can manifest as discomfort, leaving you with an anxious sense of anticipation, as if waiting for an inevitable negative outcome. Beyond relationships, there's also a significant drive for control that often emerges. This isn't necessarily about toxic dominance, though it can occasionally appear in that form. Instead, it's a fundamental urge to meticulously manage every aspect of your surroundings, because unpredictability once signified danger and collapse. Consequently, you find yourself meticulously planning and often overthinking, analyzing countless scenarios even for the simplest choices. Others might label you as type A, anxious, or a perfectionist, but truly they're observing a child who understood that vulnerability carried severe repercussions. This leads to a profound, real exhaustion, a deep weariness sleep cannot fix. It's not laziness, but a nervous system operating in overdrive since childhood. Your body never truly grasped the sensation of genuine rest, as it was never perceived as safe. Instead, resting often signaled that everything could potentially unravel. Now, for a potentially difficult truth. Many who matured too quickly develop a peculiar connection with success and achievement. Despite accomplishing significant and impressive feats, it rarely feels sufficient. An internal voice constantly pushes for more, demanding better and faster. This drive comes from an early conditioning where your personal value became inextricably linked to your utility and productivity. The harsh irony is that society actively rewards this behavior, often favoring individuals who were compelled to mature prematurely. After all, such individuals are often highly productive, self-reliant, low maintenance, and consistently get things done. Yet the profound personal cost endured to become this way is seldom acknowledged or questioned by anyone. Another consequence is becoming fluent in a unique language, one that most individuals never need to master: the language of emotional labor. You possess an innate ability to skillfully navigate and manage a tense atmosphere, much like an orchestra conductor guiding their ensemble. You can preemptively de-escalate conflicts, sensing their emergence and intervening effectively before they fully ignite. Your focus is on ensuring everyone else's comfort, even as you privately struggle and feel overwhelmed internally. This experience often shapes individuals who had to mature prematurely, taking on adult responsibilities far too soon. The peculiar aspect is that you might no longer even consciously realize you're performing these acts of emotional labor. It has become an ingrained, automatic response, as natural and effortless as the act of breathing itself. However, while breathing sustains life, this constant emotional output slowly and steadily empties you out from within. You likely encounter moments where, despite being surrounded by friends, family, or coworkers, a profound sense of loneliness washes over you. This isn't a conventional feeling of solitude, but an isolation born from the fact that no one truly perceives the immense effort you exert to keep everything running smoothly and ensure everyone else is content. To ask others to acknowledge your tireless work feels, in a way, like admitting defeat, as if you failed at the very thing you were meant to excel at. So, how does one begin to navigate all of this? How do you heal from an experience you're not even certain qualifies as trauma? It wasn't a singular dramatic event, but a multitude of small instances where you felt simultaneously like too much and not enough. The first crucial step is to allow yourself to grieve. And while that may sound dramatic, it is a very real and necessary process. You are grieving the childhood that was taken from you, the version of yourself who could have been messy, needy, and irresponsible, yet still completely loved. That inner child deserved a different path, and speaking this truth aloud doesn't make you ungrateful or bitter. Instead, it demonstrates an honest acknowledgement of your lived reality and the experiences that shaped you. Secondly, and this is perhaps the most challenging realization, you must learn that being needed is not the same as being valued, and your worth isn't determined by your productivity or managerial skills. Remember, you are not merely a human doing, but a human being, and simply existing is entirely sufficient. You are fully permitted to rest, to not possess all the answers, and to step back from carrying every burden for once. It's even acceptable to sometimes fall apart, allowing yourself to receive support without first feeling the need to earn it. Perhaps most vitally, you're allowed to be a novice at letting others care for you because, in truth, that's precisely what you are. Your age, whether 30, 40, or 50, doesn't change the fact that you never genuinely learned to share the load with someone else. Therefore, extend patience and understanding to yourself as you embark on this new journey of learning to be cared for. That child within you who was forced to mature too quickly performed an extraordinary feat in keeping everything intact. They displayed incredible resourcefulness, strength, and immeasurable bravery throughout their challenging early years. But now that diligent inner child can finally find repose. Their tireless efforts have earned them a well-deserved break. They are no longer compelled to manage every aspect of life. The responsibility to run the show has been lifted from their shoulders. It is now safe to let someone else take the lead and to embrace being youthful at heart, even if it feels long overdue. You've been gripping so tightly for so very long. Just imagine the profound relief of finally being able to let go. If this message resonated deeply with you, please consider subscribing to the channel for more insights. And if you wish to support these thoughtful explorations, hit the join button to become a channel member. Your contribution would be genuinely valued.